Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. This is Sports Buds TV. My name is Serge. Thank you all for being here with me. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. And as always, remember, I have come here to chew bubblegum and talk sports. I'm all out of bubblegum. Alright. Again, thank you all for watching the video, being here with me. If you all can like, comment, subscribe the channel, the video here today, and follow us on your social media platforms. You can find us at Sports Buds TV. So, again, thank you all for being here with me. Wanted to make this video short. A lot going on in the sports world. Last week we got a chance to discuss a few events there, right? With us being, I said last week, we're getting knee deep into the preseason there. We had at that point had already the Hall of Fame game. We were starting that week 1. And then, of course, we had the crazy game at the Field of Dreams with the Yankees and the White Sox, right, from the South Side. So a lot going on. Then we discussed some fantasy football there. I actually gave you your top 5 must-have running backs for fantasy football last year. Check out that video if you haven't had a chance to. So this week, just to give you kind of a bit of a preview, I thought we'd discuss, if you've been keeping up with the baseball, I said we'll see where the Yankees end up. They had a series against the Sox and ended up doing pretty well in that series, and right now have taken that wild card spot from the Sox. So, we'll see where they end up. Quite a few games left, but, they're trending in the right direction, if you will. With that now, I thought we'd then discuss a little later here in the show. I'm going to talk about some more fantasy football. This week, I'd want to give you your must-have wide receivers. But before we get things started, I thought we would recap some of last week's events when it comes to the fights on Saturday night, where we had 3 big main events. Of course, it was Casemiro versus Rigondeaux. We picked Casemiro, and he pulled it out. He had to track him and find him, but he ended up getting that win. Of course, then we had Franco versus Maloney in the trilogy, and, that was a slugfest as we expected it would be. Punches and bunches, we said, and that's what we got. So, shout out to them and Franco for pulling it out. Again, we picked that one. So, WBA, WBO bantamweights, Casemiro takes him, and Franco, of course, takes his WBA belt. And moving on, the line, I think, was stolen by the phenomenon, the, phenom Virgil Ortiz. Him and the Mean Machine put on a show, and definitely you see why people are so high on Virgil Ortiz. With that said, we were 3 for 3. Will it happen again? Can we do it again? I don't know, and I hope so. But what I will say is I wanted to segue from that to say this week and the main event we have with, of course, the legendary, the iconic, the 8-division champion, 5-time lineal, right? You guys know how it goes. It's Manny Pacquiao facing Yordenis Ugas. Of course, we were all looking forward to Earl Spence, but with his health condition and what we ended up finding out, he's not going to be able to partake in it. Get well soon, Earl. We wish you all the best and hope to see you in the ring whenever you're able to. But now we have a fight here for a WBA welterweight championship that initially was Manny's and then was taken from him due to inactivity and given to Ugas. Now, of course, Ugas had his fight scheduled. His opponent ends up not being able to, make a clean bill of health. So it somehow works out where we're able to see this main event on a scheduled fight for when we were going to get Earl versus Manny. And this time we end up getting it for the WBA title. I'm going to be quick about it and say I believe Manny pulls it out. I believe he gets that WBA title back. And I believe we actually see him down the road here shortly with either, he said, Crawford or Spence. If Spence is able to get there in time, because Manny's on the way out. But this bout that he picks up here tomorrow night or on Saturday night, if you will, depending on when you're watching it, will let him bring a bout to the dance, down the road. And then that fight potentially for a unification. I'm going to go ahead and pick him. We were right last week, 3 for 3. We were only going to pick one fight this week. I'm going to say if there's one guy I'm going to go with, it'll be Manny. Manny, and I believe he pulls it out. I believe Ugas will, be game on Saturday night, but in the end, I'll give the nod to Manny. With that, I said I wanted to keep it a short video. It's kind of late here, but I wanted to make sure I put this out, with time for everybody to get their, their picks in, maybe even make some money, right? If you trend on what we did last week, you may have made some dollars there. But for the end of the video, I want to give you the top 5 must-have fantasy football wide receivers, and remind you to check out last week's video where you would been able to find the top 5 must-have running backs. When I say must-have, remember guys, I don't expect you to get all of these players, but if you somehow manage to come out of your draft with one of these players at each of the position, or two of these players somehow, I think you're going to set yourself up well for the season, the regular season, and making a push towards the playoffs. With that said, again, I'll make it quick. I'm going to give you Devontae Adams, him and Aaron Rodgers, the last dance. I believe it's real. Then I'm going to give you Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs, Super Bowl 3 years in a row. Has it been done before? Can they do it? I believe Tyreek Hill is going to be a big reason why they're able to. Stephon Diggs, a big reason why the Buffalo Bills are turning things around out there. So I believe he continues to do that. With that said, Calvin Ridley is a big reason why I'm sure the Falcons felt comfortable making the moves they made in the offseason, and I expect him to continue the production that he has been on a trend for the last few years. And last but not least, of course, a guy that I have to deal with twice a year, DK Metcalf. Physical, beast, skill set. What else can you say about the guy? I believe last week I gave you top 5, but then I also mentioned I gave an honorable mention. So this week I'll do the same. I'll give you a 6-man, if you will, and that'll be Justin Jefferson. I believe another big year for the second year wide receiver, and those are my top 5 plus 1 must-have wide receivers. Again, you don't have to come out with all of them, but if you can pull one of these players that I'm going to give you here week by week, video by video, if you can pull out one of the players there at each of the positions, I think you're even better. Or two of the players from a position, however you see your value as you're drafting. That's also something big that you have to factor in. But I think these are players that you should be looking for and targeting, and their ceilings, I don't believe that they have been reached yet, and there's definitely room for them to grow if they've come close to it. So with that said, again, I wanted to keep the video short. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please follow us on all your social media platforms, or the ones that you're comfortable with. If you can hit a like, and if you can comment, subscribing to the channel would be great. This is Sports Buds TV, and you can find us on those platforms, all social media at Sports Buds TV. Thanks again for listening. Let's see what this big Saturday night fight has for us. Let's see what next week has for us with the preseason. And then, let me know what position you guys want me to talk about next as far as your fantasy football picks, and who you're looking forward to, who you're maybe targeting. For now, you all be good and stay safe.